Hi guys, welcome back. It's been a little while since we've had a video out there, so let's get started. This is going to be on chapter 4.1, if you can see that up there, chapter 4.1. And I'll take a picture of this and post it on my website next to the video to clear it up a little bit. But chapter 4.1, we're getting into the actual process, going step by step by step, and the videos that I posted, we've kind of gone through this a little bit, but I want to be very specific now on what's going on. And so I know there's a little bit of glare right there, so we'll cover that. So 4.1 is on the definition, and we're going to do this one very quickly because I've covered definition in 2 videos so far, and so you should have gotten it already. If you do not have the textbook yet, the category management textbook, this is a really good time to hit pause and order the book. Then hit play again and come back. All right, so 4.1. In the definition, we have 2 things that we're trying to accomplish. We're trying to put the SKUs that are in, and of course, as you can imagine, the SKUs that are not in, and then the structure of the category. So the structure is going to have something to do with let's have this area in, let's not have this area. So it's different on SKUs than it is on the structure. Why are we doing this? And like I told you, I'll have a picture of this next to the video. Why are we doing this? This is on, simply we're trying to get alignment. And when you can align on the definition, then you can align with all the various stakeholders. And the stakeholders are going to be customers, they're going to be the other trade vendor, the trade partners, the vendors. So it's retailer supplier alignment together, retailer supplier alignment with the customer, and it also brings in new perspectives. And probably the best example here is it also brings in the new trends. It forces you to look at your category one more time in a little bit of a different way, and then you'll say, wow, people are starting to substitute one for the other, and we should include that in our category. And so we'll talk about that. The category, as you can remember, and this is the one where the most glare, it's a distinct manageable group of products and services that customers see as interrelated and solve a need. Everything starts, I drew an I here. Everything starts from the consumer's eye. So let's talk about one more category decision tree, and we'll kind of go through it very quickly. What do you want to cover tonight or today, depending on when you're watching this thing? I'll give you a minute. So I'll give you a minute. What category do you want to cover? Wine. Let's do it. Let's put this down. That's a great idea. Okay, so wine. We're going to do a decision tree. We're going to do it very quickly from the wine standpoint. So you have to start from the beginning, and obviously there's a ton of data. You can go to secondary data, look at what everyone else is doing, but if you consume any of this, you probably have a pretty good idea of how you are making your decisions. So remember, this is from the consumer's point of view. It's a consumer decision tree. All right, so what do you think number 1 would be? You're right. Probably red and white. Now remember, we introduced a couple videos ago the idea about switchability and whether or not, like coffee ice cream, if you're out of coffee ice cream, will people go get chocolate or vanilla and those kind of things? And so in reality, if you went into a store for red and there was no red, would you go to white? And probably not. But you might switch around within red, you might switch around within white, but you wouldn't switch the 2. You might buy the 2, but that's fine. They're interrelated, but that doesn't mean they're switchable. Remember, we have switchable, we have walkable, we have those kind of various terms that we're trying to put in place that we're constantly thinking about. If a customer were standing there and something were missing, remember we need an efficient assortment, would they go somewhere else? Or would they buy something else in your store? That's a key perspective that we're trying to take. Okay, so now you go a little bit further. You're going through in the wine, and it might have something to do. Now you have to make a distinction here between, is it going to be package or brand or type? And I would challenge you that inside various price gaps or price ranges, it's going to the price ranges will determine if it's package, brand, or type. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of do this in general because we don't have a lot of time to go into each of the various types of pricing. But if you are in red and you have a tendency to buy 750s, here's my prop, 750. If you happen to buy 750s that are maybe over $10, and once you get into over $10, you're probably a type customer. Because you've moved your way up. You've gone from these cheap things, a $2 chuck, that kind of garbage wine, and you've worked your way up. So you can have maybe less than $10, a 750, or box. Ugh. Anyway, but you never know. You might like a box. But your one bottle of wine, 750 milliliters, over 10, less than 10, box. Maybe that's a good way to break it up. And now you look at it and you say, well, if I am under $10, I am probably still a brand shopper. Because I'm not comfortable enough to be spending over $10 on my wine. And so I'm looking for a comfort zone. And my comfort zone, as a consumer standpoint, would probably be a brand. That prop that I had was Lindemans. You're probably familiar with Lindemans. So you can kind of go through, and everybody has their favorite brands. From their brands, you're going to put all the types together in a brand block. Because that's how the customer is buying them. If they buy 750s over $10, then more than likely you're going to have it by type. All right, so your decision tree is going to have something to do with over 10, less than 10. All right, so if your box, you're probably about 65 years old. Just kidding. But yeah, it's a box. Boxes are boxes. They're by brand, and it's just a whole bunch of liquid. Not very good. So you have brand you're going through. And because it's a comfort zone, brand block, and you can kind of go from there. Type, what are your types? Come on, you guys know these types. You can go from Pinot, remember this is red, so it's Pinot Noir. You can come on down here to Merlot, Cab, Red Zin. Somewhere in the intensity line about here would be your Shirazes. Your Malbecs are pretty similar to Shirazes. Then you have red blends. They're going to be kind of going over here. And you kind of see where this is the fun area. This is kind of where craft beer is right now. This is kind of the not so fun area. This is kind of where Anheuser-Busch products are, or the Anheuser-Busch domestic products are. But this is how customers are buying them. So that's your decision tree that you're going through. And white is going to be similar. And you know that you're going to go through and you're going to have brands like Sutter Home and Lindemans and anything Gallo. And then you go over here and you'll have your Red Zin, kind of. Red Zin's kind of like Kool-Aid, but it's considered a white. All right, and then you can head over into your Sauvignon Blancs and your Pinot Grigios and Chardonnays and those kind of things. And there are some blends out there, but they don't blend as much on the, White Zin. I said red, and White Zin, the Kool-Aid brand. So anyway, so you kind of get the point. So once again, this is a consumer decision tree for wine. In 4.1, the only other things that we're trying to learn on 4.1, the category starts with the customer in mind. And would you change this if you were a retailer versus a category captain or a consumer goods product manufacturer? Probably not in this case. So they're relatively similar. And then a couple other questions in there about pet care and pet food and things like that. So for the most part, this is what we would want to cover in 4.1. The alignment, what a category is, consumer's eye, what the definition includes, and then how you do a decision tree. See you in the next video.